And then you and I have got to the pagination thing, and I was daunted. I didn't know how to plot them out. I was very much stuck in a 3 panels on a page process.
Yeah.
So, you know, like when you sort of came and started talking about pagination, like, you know, I was horrified at having to do it and think about it.
Well, the first time is always the hardest, but it is the same page turning concept with this. Any publication, any comic, picture book, whatever it is, when you turn that page, you know, that's the important part of it. So it's the same with this. If you've got 3 panels on every page, it's not always going to end with the right panel. Yeah,
it's like phrasing, isn't it? We were talking about when you were doing poetry or something, you have the line has a natural sort of finish to it before you start the next line.
Yes, same thing.
Yeah, so I could understand it like that, but actually doing it in picture form was very challenging. So what did we do? We sat down and we worked on. Well, you looked at it first, didn't you? We laid it. We needed somewhere where we could get all the panels laid out side by side. So we went upstairs and we laid all of the A4 three panel drawings up the hallway and round the corner and into the guest room where Kathy's staying, with all these tiny little things going round in a big circle on the floor in the guest room. And we put it in the order that I thought was going to happen. And I didn't know whether all of these panels would stay in it, and the idea was to just get a flow of the story, so that having you look at it meant that if you couldn't see how the story got from one panel to the other, it meant that I was missing panels. And I do have a few that I've still got to draw up.
I think it's always better to have more.
Yeah.
You can take them away.
Yeah.
So even if you later on will take out a couple here and there, you'll work that out later on.
Yeah, yeah. But it's sort of like, for me, what you've done is you've put a bridge in my process. You've given a bridge so I can get from the cliff that I was hanging off or waiting, couldn't go anywhere, put a bridge in to the other side, so now I can actually get on with it.
Yeah.
So what Kathy's helped me understand is this whole process about pagination. So I knew I wanted to start on the right hand side of the page, so when the book opens, like the first page is here. Actually the first page is here and that page is blank. So here we're starting here. And then the second page is a double page. So from then on we're looking at the double page spread and how that's going to look. So we're planning out all the layouts of all the panels, and we're numbering them.
It changes a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've numbered them. I like the way they've changed. You know, like looking at that one that Pat Grant doing Grot. And Pat Grant's an Australian cartoonist who's just published 2 cartoons in 2 comic books in a series, and they're comic books that look like what comic books used to look like when I was growing up. And he's got some amazing panel changes and stuff, as well as like full page. I think he's got some full page panels as well, and that variety is just so enticing.
It almost forms part of the artwork, the design.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what we've done is all the panels are numbered and the pages are numbered, so that's a page, that's a panel, and we've only really pulled out a couple of panels and discarded them, haven't we? We haven't actually taken a lot away.
No, just to make it work, because we pulled them out because they were either repetitive or they weren't needed. You know,
the story didn't make the story move along. And then you've just made some suggestions about, you know, a panoramic, joining 3 panels together, actually the idea of pulling one out and actually making it an extended long panel. So I'm looking forward to doing this, because this is more experience for me with making comics and making it all come together. And then there's, you know, the challenge of making some of the panels like bigger. And then we get to a couple of panels, pages that are really different.
A bit more dynamic.
Yes.
For the
and
energy.
then
And you were talking about in Pat Grant's squad, he had some pages with very tiny little...
They were like postage size stamp moments, just like tiles down the page, and it was really just turning and finding the page was really like, oh, look at that, and then like looking at each.
Yes.
That was really lovely.
So you may be able to use some of that in yours, and it may mean that you might have to let go of some of the words. It depends if you end up with all framed ones or you alternate it with frame and frameless, but it might mean letting go some darlings. To add some words. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What I've done too is I've taken a lot of the dialogue beyond the frames.
Yes.
And so that's going to take up space. So yes, I might have to let go of that, or I might have to do a bit of creative repagination. Yeah. As you said, you know, you might have to do it a few times to get it right.
It was these ones here that we were thinking of doing 9. It was these ones here.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of dialogue happening while the spaceships are spinning around.
Yeah.
But, you know, there could be moments where there could be silent moments. Like there could be a couple of, you know, suggestions, but then there could be a moment where there's nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the suspense of what's happening here. But I'm not sure. But that could take a life of its own.